The digital age has brought about a concerning trend, a resurgence in smoking and vaping among young people. While traditional cigarette smoking had been on the decline for decades, the advent of e-cigarettes and vapes, coupled with the pervasive influence of social media, has reversed this progress. Adolescents and young adults are increasingly exposed to enticing imagery and messages that portray these habits as trendy, cool, and harmless. This normalization of smoking and vaping within the digital sphere poses a significant threat to public health. The widespread accessibility of smartphones and the constant connectivity they provide have created a fertile ground for the proliferation of this dangerous trend. Young people are bombarded with images and videos of their peers, influencers, and celebrities engaging in smoking and vaping behaviors. The allure of fitting in, coupled with the addictive nature of social media platforms themselves, creates a potent cocktail that draws young people into these harmful habits. This digital ecosystem, characterized by its constant stream of information, instant gratification, and the pressure to conform, has become the new gateway to addiction. As we delve deeper into this issue, it becomes clear that the rise of youth smoking and vaping is not simply a matter of personal choice. It is a multifaceted problem, intricately linked to the pervasive influence of social media, the manipulative tactics employed by corporations, and the psychological vulnerabilities of young people navigating the complexities of the digital age. Understanding these interconnected factors is crucial in our efforts to address this growing public health crisis and protect future generations from the harms of nicotine addiction. Social media has become an undeniable force in shaping the attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs of young people. The hours spent scrolling through feeds, engaging with content, and connecting with peers have a profound impact on their worldview and decision-making. While these platforms offer numerous benefits, their role in the resurgence of youth smoking and vaping cannot be ignored. Social media has effectively become the new gateway to addiction, exposing young people to a constant stream of messages that normalize and glamorize these harmful habits. The visual nature of platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat makes them particularly potent vehicles for promoting smoking and vaping. These platforms thrive on eye-catching imagery and short-form videos, creating an environment where trends spread rapidly, and visual appeal takes precedence over factual information. Images of influencers and celebrities vaping, often accompanied by alluring filters and trendy music, create a powerful illusion of coolness and desirability. These carefully curated visuals bypass rational judgment and tap into the emotional centers of the brain, making smoking and vaping seem like aspirational behaviors. Moreover, the algorithms that power these platforms play a significant role in perpetuating this cycle of exposure and influence. These algorithms, designed to maximize user engagement, often prioritize content that is visually stimulating and emotionally charged. As a result, young users are bombarded with images and videos that romanticize smoking and vaping, further reinforcing the perception that these behaviors are normal, acceptable, and even desirable. This constant exposure, coupled with the addictive nature of social media itself, creates a dangerous feedback loop that can lead young people down a path towards nicotine addiction. The link between heavy social media use and increased smoking and vaping among youth is not merely anecdotal. It is supported by solid scientific evidence. A comprehensive study conducted by the UK Household Longitudinal Study, UKHLS, revealed a strong correlation between increased time spent on social media and a higher likelihood of engaging in substance use, including smoking and vaping. This extensive study, tracking the habits and behaviors of a large representative sample of young people over time, provides compelling evidence of the detrimental impact of excessive social media consumption on adolescent health and well-being. The UKHLS findings highlight the urgency of addressing this issue and taking proactive steps to mitigate the risks associated with excessive social media use. The study's robust methodology and longitudinal approach offer valuable insights into the complex interplay between technology, social influence, and addictive behaviors. The correlation observed between social media use and substance use underscores the need for comprehensive strategies that address both the individual and environmental factors contributing to this growing public health concern. This study serves as a wake-up call, urging parents, educators, policymakers, and tech companies to acknowledge the profound influence of social media on young people's choices and behaviors. The data clearly demonstrates that excessive social media use can have detrimental consequences, increasing the likelihood of engaging in risky behaviors such as smoking and vaping. By understanding the extent of this correlation, we can develop more effective interventions and educational initiatives aimed at protecting young people from the harms of nicotine addiction. The rise of youth smoking and vaping is not simply a consequence of peer pressure or individual choice. It is also fueled by the deliberate actions of corporations seeking to maximize profits. Tobacco and e-cigarette companies have recognized the immense marketing potential of social media and have strategically leveraged these platforms to target young audiences. They understand the power of visual imagery, influencer marketing, and carefully crafted messages to bypass rational judgment and appeal directly to the emotions of young users. These companies invest heavily in sophisticated marketing campaigns that portray smoking and vaping as cool, rebellious, and aspirational. They employ popular influencers and celebrities to endorse their products, creating a sense of legitimacy and desirability among young audiences. These influencers, often with millions of followers, become unwitting ambassadors for these harmful products, normalizing smoking and vaping and making them seem like an integral part of a trendy lifestyle. Furthermore, these companies exploit the data-driven nature of social media to target their advertising with laser-like precision. They leverage user data, such as browsing history, interests, and social connections, to deliver personalized ads that resonate with specific demographics. This targeted advertising ensures that their message reaches the most susceptible audiences, maximizing their reach and influence. By understanding the psychology of young people and the mechanics of social media algorithms, these companies have weaponized these platforms to promote their products and hook a new generation on nicotine. The addictive nature of social media platforms themselves plays a significant role in exacerbating the problem of youth smoking and vaping. These platforms are designed to keep users engaged, employing a variety of psychological tactics to encourage constant scrolling, liking, and sharing. The instant gratification, social validation, and fear of missing out, or FOMO, that these platforms evoke create a potent cocktail of addictive qualities that can be difficult to resist. The algorithms that power these platforms are constantly learning and adapting, tailoring content to individual preferences and maximizing user engagement. This personalized feed, filled with content that aligns with user interests, creates a powerful echo chamber that can reinforce existing beliefs and behaviors. In the context of smoking and vaping, this means that young users who are exposed to these behaviors are likely to see more content that normalizes and glamorizes them, further solidifying these perceptions. Moreover, the social comparison inherent in social media can fuel feelings of inadequacy and the desire to fit in. Young people are constantly bombarded with images of their peers seemingly living perfect lives, creating a sense of pressure to conform and emulate these perceived ideals. In this environment, smoking and vaping can be seen as a way to gain acceptance, project an image of coolness, or rebel against societal norms. This desire for social validation, coupled with the addictive nature of the platforms themselves, creates a fertile ground for risky behaviors. The lack of adequate supervision in the digital realm creates a breeding ground for risky behaviors, including smoking and vaping. While parents and educators strive to guide young people towards healthy choices, the vast and often unregulated nature of the internet poses significant challenges. Young people have access to a wealth of information, including content that glamorizes and normalizes smoking and vaping, often without the critical thinking skills or life experience to discern fact from fiction. The anonymity and perceived privacy of online spaces can embolden young people to experiment with behaviors they might not otherwise consider in the real world. The absence of immediate consequences and the perceived distance from authority figures can create a false sense of security, leading to a willingness to engage in risky behaviors. This sense of anonymity can also make it difficult for parents and educators to monitor online activity and intervene when necessary. Furthermore, the constant connectivity provided by smartphones and other devices makes it challenging to establish boundaries and enforce screen time limits. Young people are constantly bombarded with notifications, messages, and updates, making it difficult to disconnect and engage in offline activities. This constant exposure to the digital world, coupled with the lack of adequate supervision, creates an environment where young people are more susceptible to the influence of social media and the allure of smoking and vaping. Social media plays a pivotal role in perpetuating the illusion of glamour surrounding smoking and vaping. Through carefully curated images, influencer endorsements, and targeted advertising, these platforms create a distorted reality where these harmful habits are portrayed as cool, sophisticated, and even rebellious. This normalization of smoking and vaping within the digital sphere effectively erases the decades of public health campaigns that have highlighted the devastating consequences of nicotine addiction. The visual nature of platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat makes them particularly effective at conveying this illusion of glamour. Images of influencers and celebrities vaping, often accompanied by alluring filters and trendy music, create an aspirational image that appeals to young people's desire for acceptance and belonging. These carefully crafted visuals bypass rational judgment and tap into the emotional centers of the brain, making smoking and vaping seem like a desirable lifestyle choice. This normalization of smoking and vaping within the digital sphere is particularly concerning because it undermines the efforts of public health organizations to educate young people about the dangers of nicotine addiction. The constant exposure to glamorized imagery creates a cognitive dissonance, where young people are bombarded with conflicting messages about the risks and rewards of these behaviors. This dissonance can make it difficult for them to make informed decisions and resist the allure of smoking and vaping. Section 8. Peer influence and the fear of missing out. The social dynamics of online spaces, particularly the powerful forces of peer influence and the fear of missing out, or FOMO, play a significant role in driving youth smoking and vaping. Social media platforms create an environment where young people are constantly comparing themselves to their peers, seeking validation, and striving to fit in. This pressure to conform, coupled with the fear of being excluded from social circles, can lead young people to engage in behaviors they might not otherwise consider. The visual nature of social media makes it easy to showcase and share experiences, creating a sense of urgency and the fear of missing out on exciting events and social gatherings. Images of friends vaping at parties, concerts, or other social events can make it seem like everyone is engaging in these behaviors, amplifying the pressure to conform and join in. This fear of being left out, coupled with the desire for social acceptance, can override rational judgment and lead young people down a path towards risky behaviors. Moreover, the online disinhibition effect, where individuals feel less inhibited and more likely to engage in behaviors they would avoid in face-to-face interactions, can contribute to the normalization of smoking and vaping in online spaces. The perceived anonymity and lack of immediate consequences can embolden young people to experiment with these behaviors, even if they have reservations or concerns. This online disinhibition, coupled with the powerful forces of peer influence, creates a dangerous cocktail that can normalize risky behaviors and make them seem more acceptable. Section 9. Mental health and the search for coping mechanisms. The link between heavy social media use, mental health, and the adoption of coping mechanisms such as smoking and vaping is a complex and concerning issue. Studies have shown a correlation between excessive social media use and increased rates of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem among young people. These mental health challenges can lead individuals to seek solace in unhealthy coping mechanisms, including substance use, as a way to numb emotional pain or alleviate stress. The constant comparison and competition inherent in social media can contribute to feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. The curated perfection often displayed online can make young people feel like they don't measure up, leading to anxiety, depression, and a distorted self-image. These mental health struggles can make individuals more vulnerable to the allure of smoking and vaping, as they seek a temporary escape from their emotional distress. Moreover, social media can create a sense of isolation and loneliness, despite the illusion of connection it provides. The superficial nature of many online interactions can leave individuals feeling empty and disconnected, further exacerbating existing mental health challenges. This sense of isolation can drive individuals to seek comfort in unhealthy habits, such as smoking and vaping, as a way to cope with feelings of loneliness and disconnection. Section 10. The urgent need for regulation and intervention. Addressing the problem of youth smoking and vaping in the digital age requires a multifaceted approach that includes stricter regulation, targeted interventions, and a collective effort from parents, educators, policymakers, and tech companies. The pervasive influence of social media demands a comprehensive response that tackles the root causes of this growing public health crisis. First and foremost, stricter regulations are needed to curb the manipulative marketing tactics employed by tobacco and e-cigarette companies on social media. This includes limitations on influencer marketing, bans on targeted advertising aimed at young audiences, and stricter enforcement of age verification measures. Governments and regulatory bodies must hold these companies accountable for their actions and prioritize the health and well-being of young people over corporate profits. Furthermore, targeted interventions are needed to educate young people about the dangers of smoking and vaping, counteract the glamorized imagery prevalent on social media, and provide support for those struggling with nicotine addiction. This includes comprehensive school-based programs, public health campaigns that utilize social media to disseminate accurate information, and readily accessible resources for those seeking help to quit. Finally, a collective effort is required to create a safer and healthier digital environment for young people. Parents and educators must play an active role in monitoring online activity, fostering open communication about the risks of smoking and vaping, and encouraging healthy coping mechanisms. Tech companies must take responsibility for the content shared on their platforms, implement stricter content moderation policies, and prioritize user well-being over engagement metrics. Section 11. Conclusion: protecting our youth in the digital age. The rise of youth smoking and vaping in the digital age is a complex and multifaceted issue that demands our urgent attention. The pervasive influence of social media, the manipulative tactics employed by corporations, and the psychological vulnerabilities of young people have created a perfect storm that threatens to reverse decades of progress in combating nicotine addiction. Protecting our youth from the harms of smoking and vaping requires a collective effort to address the root causes of this problem. We must challenge the illusion of glamour perpetuated by social media, empower young people to make informed decisions, and hold corporations accountable for their actions. By working together, we can create a digital environment that supports the health, well-being, and future of our youth. The time for complacency is over. The stakes are too high, and the future of a generation hangs in the balance. We must act decisively and strategically to shield our young people from the allure of smoking and vaping and guide them towards a healthier and brighter future.